Yeah, so quick introduction. I mean, I think Sci-Fi did it already. I have around 15 years of experience in supply chain, mainly in OMS, WMS, and retail area. I've been part of multiple OMS implementations for different products. We're going to see what are the different products we have in OMS. Like Sterling IBM is one of the most famous OMS, and also Manhattan Hybris, and there are a few more, Radial and all. So I've been part of mostly Sterling and Manhattan implementations. Uh, yeah, I've done program management and other stuff as well. Agile, done some agile work, agile implementations in programs, projects, and all. So that's my quick introduction. As of now, I work in a small startup called Nextuple. I was part of Publicis Sapient before this. Joined this company 1 month back. Been on the product side, doing product operations for this startup, where we're building some products around fulfillment area, in and around OMS only again. So that's my introduction. Start recording, is it, Sci-Fi? Sure. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. So here we are, order management system. So what we're going to learn, right? Let me quickly move to the next slide. So introduction to OMS, we're going to see what OMS is, right? And then what is the order and what are the different order life cycles we have. Then get into OMS modules, right? Different modules OMS consists of. After that, another important concept is inventory management. This is a pain point for all the retailers and even other people who manage inventory. So we're going to see how inventory management is done, because it's part and parcel of OMS in most of the places. And also see OMS solution landscape. What are the different options, considerations we have? If somebody has to go and implement OMS, what are the different options they have? And what different integrations. We're going to see a lot more than this actually. And then at the end, Q&A. Before I jump on to my session, I would like to always start with a question, right? Anybody who is in this session, do they have any idea of what is order management? Any definition is fine. So I would like to keep it open for questions. I don't want to keep it at the end. So I want it to be interactive so that people don't sleep, and also they get interested, right? I mean, if you make it interactive, it's better than keeping the questions at the end. So what is OMS? Can somebody take a stab at it?
Yeah, when you get, for example, when you get a purchase order in any organization, then post that receiving an order, you need to have the raw material to manufacture, and managing or ordering getting the raw material from that stuff till delivering it to the customer. So all this, it includes order management system.
Okay, good. Yeah, good enough. I mean, talking about getting your order, taking that order, creating a PO, manufacturing the product, and then delivering it to the customer's hand, right? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Anybody else? I know we have less people, but if there is one more answer, I'd like to take it. Okay, silence. I'll take it. So we're going to define it in later slides also, again, more complex definition of OMS, but in simple terms, yeah. So order management is a computer software used for order entry and processing, and that's the most simplest definition of OMS. Okay, so you basically get orders, right, from different channels, right? Your channels could be your digital channel, your call center, your phone, or your telemarketing or TV, right? Any channel it could be. So get that order, right? Or sometimes you can create order within OMS as well, right? If you have a call center, which is a part of OMS, you can create that, and processing of that order, right? Processing includes everything, whatever you said, right? So processing could be just knowing where to source it from, right? Because you might have inventory in different locations, right? Choosing the best source to take that inventory and create that order, right? And fulfill that order, right? So basically order entry and order. So basically this is a system of record for orders, right? I mean, you have system of record for different things, right? So OMS, I call it as a system of record for customer orders, okay? Because it takes order and processes it, okay? So what order management does, it's a pictorial representation, right? I mean, here I have taken example of IBM Sterling, right? You have different channels from where you're getting order, right? What OMS also does is it gives a omni-channel experience, right? You might have different channels. I mean, you might have heard of what is a channel? Channel is how you do, how you sell your products, right? There are different channels. .com is a channel, right? Your call center is a channel. Your mobile also could be a channel, right? Telemarketing is a channel, right? Different channels, or even some people do catalog as a channel, right? I mean, where they send catalogs and you can call up and place order, right? So you have different channels and you have different applications, right? You have store systems, you have a warehouse management system, and a lot of other systems, right? They are not talking to each other. So OMS is that middle layer which talks to all of these applications and keeps them informed and keeps the customer informed. And basically hides all of that complexity from the customer. So for the customer, he just places the order, right? He's getting all the updates and he gets the order, right? At the end of the day. So that's what it matters to him, right? To the customer, right? So most of the things are done by OMS, because OMS is the one which creates that omni-channel experience. Having different channels is easy, but giving that omni-channel experience is very difficult. And to give that omni-channel experience, you need to have a good order management system, because this is one system that talks to all your digital channels, all your channels, and also your downstream applications. Okay. So it mainly includes, as I said, order capture. We get that order right from the customer and process that order. Processing is your scheduling and sourcing, right? I mean, this is the main function of OMS, right? You might have inventory in different places, right? How do we schedule and source it from that right location, right? Because you cannot be shipping it from a far away place, right? You cannot be shipping it in different packages, right? If customer has placed order for 10 items, you want to reduce the number of shipments, because that is also going to cost you a lot, right? So how do we kind of take the most optimal location to ship it from, right? That is what is mainly decided by OMS. OMS does a lot more function than this, but the main reason to have OMS is sourcing and scheduling, okay? To get the inventory from the right place to the customer, okay? Is it clear? Any questions, doubts on definition of OMS? Okay, I will move on. Orders and order cycles, right? What is the order and what are the different order cycles we have? We're going to see. Okay. What is an order? So basically, I mean, if you say technically, it's a verbal or a written contract to engage in a commercial transaction for products or services. Basically, it's a contract between a buyer and a seller to give a service or a product. Okay. That I place the order. So that's a contract between me and that seller, that I will pay him and he'll give me that product. Okay. So order cycle, right? What happens in the order at a higher level? Okay. So there are 3 steps basically. Order capture, right? Where customer places the order, right? It could be in any channel, right? So say for example, I want to buy a shirt, right? So I went to so Amazon.com, right? Or through the mobile app, right? I went and placed the order. Okay, I wanted to buy a shirt for Ramadan or anything, right? So I placed the order. So I'm done, right? My job is done. So I'm just expecting that shirt will be delivered to me. Okay. There's a lot more that happens in between, and that is where OMS comes into picture, right? That is where order processing comes in, right? So OMS, if you take Amazon, right? Amazon might have different warehouses, right? Since they don't have stores in India, it's only about warehouses or fulfillment centers or distribution centers, whatever you call them, right? Different people call them differently. So let's assume I stay in Bangalore, I place the order, and so that shirt is available in, say, Bangalore as well as Mumbai or Chennai, right? Different places, right? So what OMS does is, so looks at where all inventory is there, right? Applies business rules, right? What is the minimum shortest path to get me that, right? So it chooses then Bangalore. If it is available in Bangalore, it chooses Bangalore. If it is not in Bangalore, it will choose Chennai, right? Which is the nearest thing, right? And also there's a lot of other rules, right? We're going to see all of that in detail later, right? whether to take it from reserve inventory or whether we have inventory in the prime locations, right? And then sends that order to that warehouse, right, to fulfill that order, right? And then that warehouse or store, right, whichever it is, picks, packs, and ships that order to the customer. Okay, so that is the second process, second step, right? The third step is once you pick, pack, and ship, so there will be some courier, right? It could be DTC, a professional courier. If it is US, if it is FedEx, it could be FedEx or UPS, right? Which will pick that order and give it to the customer hand, right? Customer's hand. And customer also keeps getting notifications on this, right? They'll be getting emails that, okay, your order is shipped. You're going to get it on this day, right? And once it is delivered, so you get a message that we have delivered your order. Okay. This is a high level order cycle. Okay. Any questions? Okay. How many people we have now? Okay. Sure. So a customer receives the order, right? That is the last step. So what are the order types and fulfillment methods? Okay, let's see what different order types, right? We have heard of ship to homes and other types. Right? Now the new trend says buy online and pick up in store. Right? Let's see at high level what are the different order types we have. Okay, the first most and another thing nowadays is customer wants it fast, right? They don't want it later, right? So earlier when you used to book something, it used to take few days to come, right? Then it became 2 days, next day, right? Now we want it now, right? I mean, so Amazon, I think grocery and all, right, is delivering it within few hours now, right? And if you book medicine through Myra, you get it in 2 hours, right? So the customer is in a hurry now. They don't want to wait. Okay, they don't want to wait. That is how the millennial generation is, right? The new generation is. They don't want to wait. Yes, can people go on mute, please? I can hear somebody. Can everybody go mute? Okay, thank you. So there is a change in the shift of how people expect stuff, right? They service now. They want it fast. So there again, OMS plays a bigger role, okay, to make it faster. Okay, the first order type is ship to home, right? The same example of the shirt I gave, right? Where you place the order for your shirt, for your pant, or anything, right, for that matter. It could be even medicine, it could be even grocery. You place the order, so that is kind of given to you sent to your home, okay, and it is mostly kind of shipped by the external couriers, okay, couriers. It could be parcel, the external parcel services. It could be your DTDC professional courier, right? Some people have their own courier system, like Amazon has its own. They do ship to home on their own. Okay, that's a normal basic order where you place the order and it is sent to your home. There is another type of order called delivery. Okay, so this is for larger items. Okay, for example, if you bought a refrigerator, or if you bought a AC, right, or if you bought a fridge, right, there it won't be sent through a normal courier, right? There will be a van or a truck that comes from the retail. Okay, because there is some, it could be some installation required, it could be some instruction that needs to be given along with that order. Okay, so this will be sent individually, right? I mean, they might have different orders on the truck, but it will be individually sent to you, and there'll be appointment also associated with this. Okay, they'll tell you when they're going to come. Whereas for ship to home, if you're not there, they'll give it to a security, they'll give it to anywhere, right? I mean, you can just tell them, okay, leave it on your doorstep. Okay, but if it is a delivery order, there is an appointment created that, okay, I'm going to come from this time to this time, right? So it could be tomorrow, Monday, right? So 10th of May. So he's going to come between 12 to 3 p.m. Okay, there is an appointment associated with the delivery order. And these are big items. Okay, so fridge you bought, right? So they might come and give you some demo of that, right? Tell you some instructions and how to use it. And okay, so delivery is a different order. It's mostly for the bigger, bulkier items, okay, and costly items. Okay, so delivery is done for those kind of items. Okay. The new trend, which we all know of now, and in India also it's trending a lot. It has been there in US for like last more than 10 years, right? Pick up in store, right? Buy it online, BOPIS, it's called BOPIS. Buy online and pick up in store, where you buy something and you'll go and pick it up from the store, right? It could be Max also, right? Max, which sells clothes again, has this option that you can buy something online, right? You don't want to wait, or you don't want to pay for the shipping cost, right? Sometimes, right, there could be some shipping cost also if you're trying to ship it. If you don't want to do that, you can buy it online and go and pick it from the nearest store, right? You might have a store near to your home, right? You can just go and pick it from there. Okay, this is the most common order type now we are seeing in India as well. Even during COVID times, is that a question? Okay, people can go on mute, please. Okay, so Bopis has been very famous even during COVID times, even in US. Okay, we saw a spike in Bopis orders because people just want to go out. Okay, they just want to go out. They don't want to go and spend a lot of time in store, but they just want to go. Then there's a lot of new things that came in Bopis. There's something called curbside pickup now, which is very famous in US, where you can place a pickup in store order. You don't have to enter the store. You can go to the parking lot and they'll have your order ready. You can just go there. You would have got a message, show it to them or scan it, right? And the store person will come and deliver it to your car where you're sitting in the car in the parking. So curbside pickup is a new trend that we're seeing in Bopis nowadays. Where you place the order, you went to the store, you didn't go inside the store. You're just standing in the parking lot. It's called curbside pickup. There's new things that are being tried. Is even storage lockers. So Lowe's is one of the retailer which is trying that. So you have storage lockers in the store outside. I mean, basically not inside, very inside. It's just when you enter the store, you have storage lockers where your orders would be kept, right? And you would have got a barcode when you go and scan that barcode near the storage locker. You can open that. You would have, I mean, there's like they might have 100 lockers. So you would have got a message that your item is in locker number 56. You just go there, scan that barcode, and it opens, and you can take your item and go home. You don't have to go inside search in the store, right? You already paid for it, and you went and picked it up. Okay, these are the new trends I'm talking about. So normally, otherwise, Bopeses, you created an order, right? Went to the store near the cashier, right? I mean, these items would be kept near where you pay for them, right? So those orders will be kept when you go and show them your order receipt. It will be already packed. They'll give it to you and you can pick it and come. That's a normal Bopus. Okay. So what I talked about, that curbside pickup and lockers and all are the new trends we see. Okay. There's something called Ropus, reserve online and pick up in store. The difference here is you don't pay for it, but you can still reserve it. So, but the reservation will be there for only a couple of hours. Okay. So, for example, say you wanted to buy something, but you're still not decided on it. Okay. You can reserve it in a store and go there and you can decide to buy it or leave it. Okay. So, this reservation will be there for like 6 to 8. Again, it's configurable, right? It could be for 6 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours maximum. Okay. So you can reserve it. You can either go buy it or leave it. Okay, but it will be reserved for you for a couple of hours. Okay, a few hours. Okay, the next type is digital delivery. Okay, this says if you buy a gift card, it's neither sent to your home or delivered. It will come through eBay. It could be music, or it could be your game, right? Online game that you bought, where you get an email with a code and all. You can go and download it. This is another way of giving your order, delivering your order. Okay, this also is little. I'll not say little. It started late 2008-9 is when digital delivery started, where Amazon and Best Buy started first time, where they used to deliver digital gift cards, also digital music and all. And now a lot of other retailers also do it. Okay. So any questions on types of orders? Please do ask questions. Okay, if you have any questions, do ask. Otherwise, I think I'm assuming that people are getting it. Okay. Fulfillment methods, right? I mean, sometimes people get confused with order types and fulfillment methods. Order types is what is the type of order, right? How are you going to deliver it? Whereas fulfillment method is how are you going to do that? From where are you going to source that item? Okay, that is a fulfillment method. Okay, one is shift from warehouse, which is the most common one, right? Shift from warehouse. Some people call it as distribution center. Some people call it as fulfillment center. Right, that's the most common one. Okay. Most of the retailers use their warehouses to ship it. Okay. The new trend has been now shift from store, because what happens is a lot of inventory lying in the store, which is not being used, right? It could be also to save shipping cost, because you might have warehouses only in very few places, whereas you might have stores in a lot more locations, right? So if you're shipping from store, it could be cheaper, right? And another advantage is you can get rid of your inventory, which is lying in the store, because the traffic to stores has reduced. Okay, it has been reducing every year. If you compare from 2010 to now, it said that around 20% traffic has reduced to stores. People don't want to go to stores. People want to buy online and different channels. Okay, so that's one way of using your store inventory. Drop ship from vendors. So this is where you don't own the inventory, but you're still selling it on your selling channels. But you have a direct contract with your vendor or supplier, and they directly ship it to your home, right? So you place the order. So that inventory is not there in your store or warehouse, but you place a PO or you send a order to your warehouse, to your vendor or your supplier, and direct the supplier and vendor directly ship the product to your customer. Okay, this is another way of fulfillment. Any questions? Okay, I would like to share one more little detailed what happens on a normal order. This is more of a ship to home, or it could be delivery order also. Just a process flow I'd like to share so that we understand better, because it looks very simple from the customer perspective, but a lot more things happen on the retailer side. Okay. So this is a happy path order flow, okay, where a customer came to your website, right? It could be guest or it could be a registered customer, doesn't matter. Here we take an example of guest, okay. So he came in, he searches for your order, okay, browses you through your categories, right, and searches, and that is when you search that product and you click on the product, then you open something called product detail page. PDP is a very famous concept in the .com channel. Okay, PDP is the product detail page, which shows all the details of your product, right? It could be different. I mean, you might have different images of it, right? You might have some videos of it, right? You will have a good description of that. You could have customer reviews, right? Ratings and all of that comes on that PDP page. Okay, so you look at it and you like it and you add to cart. Okay, so you clicked on that right button, add to cart. So that happens, right? And when you go to the cart, you see some cross sell, upsell items, right? Okay, people who bought this also bought this, right? You just show this is just to do some cross selling and upselling. So you show some similar items, right, or related items to the customer. See, because if you're in store, it's easy to do cross sell, but if you're on a website, it's very difficult actually. So this is the only place where you can do some cross sell and upsell, right? You show related products, you show similar items, and also tell that people who bought this also bought this, so that it might prompt a customer to buy more. Okay. Then after that, you go to the shipping address, right? You add your address, you go to the page where you add your address, and this is where one integration happens to the address verification system, right? Just to check whether the address is right and wrong. Okay, India, it's not very good as of now, but US and all has a lot of sophisticated address verification systems, right? If you enter a wrong address, some of the retailers even don't take that order. They'll ask you to correct that address, okay? Because if you have a wrong address, it's very difficult to fulfill that order, right? So you do address verification, validation here. Then choose the shipping options, right? So in India, you don't usually see it, but in US, you see it, where you have an option of selecting whether you want it next day, second day, or ground shipping. Ground is the slowest. It's mostly free. All right. If you want it next day or second day, you have to pay some shipping cost. Okay. So you choose that option. Then promise displayed to guests. So based on the option you choose, right? If it is next day, right, you might say that, okay, you'll get it in 2 days. If it is second day, you might get it in 3 days. If it is ground, you might get it in 4 or 5 days. Okay. Depending on what kind of product you're buying. So you get the promised date. Okay. So usually this date is shown little more than what you would actually kind of fulfill it. It's the maximum date by which you'll get the order. Okay. Then determine shipping cost for the guest, right? If it is, as I said, right, since you chose the shipping option, so you show them how much it's going to cost them, right? And if there are any promotions, apply that promotions, right? You get usually option here to apply any promotions, and then that calls to the promotion engine. That's a separate application that will validate the promotions, right? Any coupon codes you used. And also another important thing, another call happens is determine tax, right? What are the tax? In India, it's pretty straightforward GST, but in US, it's a very complex tax system. Different states have different taxes, okay? And different states have different tax rules, right? Some of them put tax on the shipping location. Some of them put tax on the buying zip code. Okay, a lot more complex in US. So that happens here. Okay, and then you add a payment type and put the billing address. If it is same, then you can select it. If it is different, you can enter a new different billing address. Select a payment method, right? Whether you want to pay by credit card, debit card, right? Your net banking, all of that, right? Cash on delivery, it's very famous in India. Usually we don't see that in US. I'm not sure if it has come now, but when I was there, we never had cash on delivery option. Okay, it used to be either credit card, gift card, or net banking. Okay, then you do checkout. So there is some card validation that happen here just to see if everything is fine, right? Once you do the payment, then payment authorization happens, and this is where you have the integration with payment gateway, right? I mean, this could take a few seconds. So some of the retailers, what they do is they have made it a sync call, right? I mean, where you don't let the customer waiting on it. You say that sometimes what happens if there is a delay, they say that you go and check it in your later in the order. You can go and check what the status for order later. Okay, if it is a delay, if it is there's no delay, you can just get the auth right away, right? Sometimes so what they've done is async call now actually, right? Some retailers have done it, right? If you go to especially Amazon, right? Sometimes if there is a delay in your payment, what you get the message that you can check your order status later, right? And it is done. Okay, and you can go back and check the order status. Sometimes you see that your payment has failed, you don't do that retry payment again, right? If it is successful, I mean, you get the order number. Okay. And this is when reserve local inventory happens. Okay, the whatever order you place, what that item is reserved, and the order is created. Okay, and you get an email that you place an order for such and such items. Okay, so order then comes to OMS. Okay, is it fine? You people understanding? Any questions? Is it fine? All good?
Yeah, we are understanding.
Okay, great. Okay. So now that this is all your order capture channel. Okay, all this what I talked about detailed steps is when the order is placed. Okay. Now the order came to OMS, create order. So order is created. There's API to create order. Okay. So order gets created and basic order validations are done. Okay. So though you might have had some validations in your order capture channel, but there are some more validation that happen in OMS. Okay, just to check if it has the address and if it has the payment info and all, right? So that happens, and there is something called remorse period. So the remorse period is usually half an hour or 15-minute time where you want to give an option to the customer to cancel the order if he wants to without charging him anything. Okay, it's called buyer's remorse period. So again, it's configurable. Some retailers have it as 15 minutes, some have as half an hour, right? Depends on again retailer to retailer. Okay, and then fraud check happens. So the fraud check can happen here also when you are doing that payment, but some retailers keep the fraud check with OMS, right? So fraud check is done just to make sure that the payment and all is fine. It's not a fraud order, it's not a fraud customer, right? So again, it's a lot of rules that are defined to do the fraud check. Sometimes you might go to a third party system to do that. Sometimes you might have those rules in OMS only. Okay, so as I said, it's fraud check system. Sometimes you go outside. Sometimes you could have some basic rules within OMS as well. And after that, the scheduled order, right? You schedule that order. Inventory sourcing. This is where you check where is that inventory. Okay, which location. Like for example, if you place the order for 10 items, right? You might not have all the inventory in one place. Okay, you might want to source it and create different orders within OMS for shipping those separately. Okay, or you might want to ship it to one location and then kind of put it together, pack it together, and send it to the customer location as one order. Okay, a lot of sourcing rules. I mean, it is one of the most complex module of OMS. Okay, the sourcing rules, right? There's a lot of logic written here. There's a lot of rules here, right? Rules could be based on your what is my shipping cost, what is my, it could be because of zip codes, right? Where is the customer staying, right? Based on that you have sourcing rules. It could be because of the shipping method you're taken. It could be because of the type of customer, right? A lot of different rules written here. Based on that, the sourcing rules are run. Okay, And then once that is done, you allocate that inventory and create that shipment and release that order to the shipping location. Okay. There's again shipping consolidation rules happen here, as I said, right? If you have orders in different locations, how do you create separate shipments? Okay. Then that is released to the your fulfillment center, DC or stores. Okay. So the order comes to the WMS or your store system, right? Then picking and packing happens, right? Manifesting and shipping. So this is where your work is done from the retailer side, and then your carrier would come and pick that order and ship it and give it to the customer. Okay. And again, there's some confusion. Then when is payment actually collected? Okay. So this is a common mistake people do is they think that the payment is collected here when you do the payment capture. It doesn't actually happen. You do something called authorize that payment. Okay, authorization happens. So for example, say if you bought a item for 1,000 rupees, okay, or $100, right? So only authorization is taken from the bank, and that authorization could be active for around 15 days maximum. Okay, depending on again what kind of card it is, right? What kind of bank it is. So authorization would be there for 15 days, and within that time, that money is blocked, but you're still not taken the money because there is a rule in US and most of the other countries that you cannot take money until you ship the product. Okay, so only if you ship the product, that is when you're out of that. That item is out of your hands and it's already on the way to the customer. Right now, it is with the couriers, right? It is with the shipping companies, right? So that is when you can actually take the money. So that's why it's all triggers settlement happens, right? And the payment is collected. Okay. So this is where the payment gateway is again called by OMS to do the settlement. You take that money, 1,000 rupees or $100, and then you also tell a customer, you send the email that your order is shipped from our location. You're gonna get it in few days. Okay. So this is the complete order cycle in detail. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I will go back. Okay. What are the different OMS modules, right? As I said, that OMS does a lot of things, right? We're going to see what are the different modules OMS has, okay? An integrated OMS may have these modules, okay? Again, depends on type of product you have bought, right? How many features, because by default, it has some features, but if you want some additional features, you'll have to pay and buy them separately, okay? Again, depending on the package you have, okay? Uh, Usually, this is what a OMS would have. First is product information. Okay, so this is the most basic thing that OMS needs to have because it needs to have product attributes, right? Description, location, quantities, right? Where is that product available? So product information is the most basic thing that OMS needs to have. It needs to have inventory availability, right? And ATP available to promise and sourcing, right? We're going to see inventory in detail. I'm not going to talk much about here. So basically, it needs to have inventory picture, okay? Because this is, as I said, is not only order system. Sometimes it is also inventory, truth of inventory. Okay, it stores inventory and gives that inventory to the selling channels. Okay. Uh, the next is vendor purchasing and receiving. So you need to have this information also, right? Who are my vendors, right? When you get an order, if it is dropship vendor, especially, right? Dropship orders. So who are my vendors, right? How can I create purchase orders to them? And also receiving also, right? So in OMS, in some places, especially if you have a stored order management, you have to have receiving as well, right? Even otherwise, you need to have this receiving information coming to OMS, right? Whenever new inventory is received, you need to get that update to OMS. Okay. Other one is marketing, catalogs, promotions, and pricing. Okay. So different catalogs. As you have categories in your selling channels, you also need to have categories and catalogs in OMS. Okay. And also promotion information, pricing information, all of that is needed in OMS. Okay. The reason for that is, right, if you modify any order, you will have to run that promotion cycle again. Okay. And it could have again pricing changes. So you need to have a way to integrate with the pricing system as well. Other few things, customer data. It needs to have customer data. If you are a registered customer, right? you might want to store that data in OMS, okay? Because you don't want to again call that customer system, right? You will have to have customer data, basic customer data. It could be address, it could be phone number, email address, and all that is also stored. Order entry, basically this is again very basic function, right? You should be able to enter order, customer service, and you should be able to support customer service, okay? We're going to see about call center later again. Customer service is mostly about call center application, right? Which it could be for returns, refunds, right? It could be order mods also you're going to do here, okay? Financial processing, as I said, right? It's very important that financial processing is part of OMS because it could be because of order change. Uh, order change. If there is any change in order, so you will have to do again call to the payment system, right? Or it could be because of address change. If you cancel the order, there's going to be a lot more reasons, especially in US, right? If you're shipping from different location, you might want to call again payment, right? It could be for settlement, as I said, right? Once the order is shipped, for settlement, you'll have to call the payment system. Okay, so you need to have that financial processing capability in OMS. Okay, so order processing, this is again a very basic OMS function where you, you do the selection, right? Printing, packing, this is all comes when if you have a store order management. We're going to talk about that in the later slides. Okay, data analysis and reporting, again, very important function of OMS. OMS does generate a lot of reports for management, for data analysts and all, right? So OMS has a good capability of producing good reports. Okay. Store management and call center. As I said, OMS as a separate application has a store management and a call center. It's not part of the basic OMS when you buy it, but these are separate applications, right? You'll have to buy separately. Okay, OMS applications. So core OMS, right? It's also called DOM, distributed order management. In Manhattan, they call it as DOM. In Sterling, they call it as OMS or console OMS. This is which is a core OMS. All of the sourcing, scheduling, right, inventory management, all happens in this application. Okay, and this you usually don't give access to the end customer. It's mostly handled by the call center people. Again, if you don't, even if you don't have a call center, it's mostly handled by the support team, right? Because this is a core OMS, you don't want to do any changes here. These are mostly one-time setups and a lot of complex configuration you'll have to do. So that is core OMS. Call center is another application which is part of OMS, right? Again, it's doesn't come as a basic OMS. You have to buy it separately. So call center has a lot of kind of functionalities within it, right? Call center, you can place your order also, where a customer can call and place your order, right? If they want a replacement order, right? And a lot of other modifications. We're going to see in the next slide, different modifications you do through call center, okay? The last one is store order management. It's again a separate application, but now most of the retailers use it because having a store order management, same as OMS, does a lot of help in inventory management and a lot of other functions as well. So store order management, what happens in this is basically receiving of inventory in store, right? Processing of orders, right? So all of that happens, transfer order management. So all of that happens in the store order management, okay? Any questions? Anything? Okay. Moving on, order mods. What are different type of order modifications we have? Okay. So the most usual order mods is cancellations, right? Now, what most of the retailers have given is option to the customer themselves to go and cancel it from the account. Okay, so this is again a newer trend. Most of the retailers are trying to do it to avoid calls to the call center. They've given you option, if you want to go and cancel your order, you can go and do it through your account itself. Okay, but you will have a certain time within which you can cancel, right? You cannot cancel it always before it is. So most of the retailers, what they do is before it is shipped, before the product is shipped, you can cancel it. Once it is shipped, it's difficult to cancel it. Okay, so you can cancel either through call center or you can do it yourself. Okay, change of address. So not very famous in India, but in US it's very famous, where the customer want to call up and change the address. Okay, you have the capability of doing that again through call center, and some retailers do it, give it to you option to change it to your my account as well. Okay, delivery order changes. As I said, delivery order is a separate kind of order which is a little more complex because you have appointment and all associated with that. So they have different order changes. One is appointment reschedule, right? As I said, you had given appointment of say Monday 12 to 3 p.m., right? Because if it's a delivery order, you need to be at home. You cannot be at home and expect it to be delivered, right? So if you then you realize that, oh, I won't be there tomorrow from 12 to 3. I want to do a appointment reschedule, right? You want to change it to Tuesday morning, say 10 to 1, right? You can do that. Again, that's a order change, right? Appointment rescheduling is you can do. Okay, delivery notes update, right? I mean, you can put some delivery notes, and that also can be updated, right? The delivery note could be, right, I have 2 doors, so it comes through the back door, right? It could be anything, right? So any note you want to update, right? And delivery address change. This also can be done for a delivery order as well. Okay. Applying promotions, right? What happens is you bought something, right? Not very famous in India. If you call up, they won't help you, but in US you can do it, and some other countries as well. Okay, so where you bought something and then you got a coupon for promotion, right? You can still call up and get the promotion, and they'll give you back some money. Okay, payment type changes, right? You can change your payment type. So you place the order through, say, credit card. You want to change it to some other credit card, you want to change it to a gift card, you want to change it to some other payment type, you have that option. Okay. This is mostly done through center. You cannot do it on your own. Mostly done through call center, or you go to any store and do it. Another order mod is change fulfillment method. Okay. You place the order for ship to home, you want to change it to buy online and pick up in store. So that also can be done. And vice versa, right? BOPIS to STH, right? And then STH to delivery, deliveries to STH. Very rarely delivery to STH, but STH to delivery you can do. Or BOPIS to delivery you can do. Okay, so those are the change fulfillment methods. Any questions? Okay, I will move on, assuming people are understanding and the speed is right. Inventory management, as I said, it's a very painful thing for every retailer, right? I mean, because most of the people keep crying that I don't have the right inventory picture. Okay, so this is a pain point for most of the retailers, or almost everybody, right? So OMS plays a very important role in the inventory management, because most of the retailers use this as also a set, record of inventory as well. Okay, system of record for inventory as well. Okay, so how it is done, you're going to see that. Okay, how does inventory come into OMS? Because OMS is a virtual system, you don't actually have physical inventory in that, right? Physical inventory is in stores or in the warehouses or in fulfillment centers, or it could be with your vendors, right? If it's a dropship vendor, right? How does OMS get inventory updates, right? Source of supply to OMS. The first is incoming purchase orders and transfer orders, right? So if you place a purchase order or a transfer order, right? So that information comes to OMS, and that is how OMS knows, that is a source of supply to OMS. Okay, that is how OMS knows that there is inventory coming, and I can promise this inventory. Okay, the other way is stores and distribution centers supply trickle feed. Okay, delta inventory updates, right? So, for example, I had say 100 items in a place, right? And you sold say 10 items, right? So you send a message that, okay, now I have inventory of 9, right? That's a delta message you're going to get from a store or from a DC, right? That is the OMS knows, right? That OMS updates and gives that information to the selling channels. Okay. And then last one is batch inventory feed, full sync. So some retailers run it every day, some people run it weekly, and some people run it more later than that. Okay. So this is a full sync where the whole inventory picture of a warehouse or a DC is sent to the OMS. So basically it replaces everything, right? So one OMS might have a store A, let's say they had 1,000 items and they had inventory, right? When you send a full sync, so the inventory picture of all of that is replaced with the new full sync that you got. Okay, so that is also a source of supply to OMS. This is how OMS has inventory picture. Okay, demand, right? How is demand created? How is that demand created to OMS inventory, right? So it is because of the orders, right? Sales orders or transfer orders, right? So sale order, you got customer orders, so there is demand created. So there is a hold on that inventory. Or it could be because of transfer order, right? So one store had this much inventory and they want to transfer it to some other store. Or it could be transfer between a DC to store, DC to DC, right? So this is all creates demand, okay, for that item, okay? Inventory locking resistance from selling channels again, right? It could be a reservation, right? So when you get an order, it's a confirmed inventory locking, but there could be some reservations as well. As I said, right, that ropes order just reserves that inventory. Okay, that is also demand is created by that kind of option as well. Okay, a real-time availability monitor. So RTAM is a very famous concept again in OMS. So taking all of this, right, all of this source, right, all of this inventory picture, and also looking at demand, OMS publishes something called RTAM, real-time availability monitor. So this it gives to the selling channels. Okay, it is again delta and full sync, right? It as the inventory picture changes, so there will be trickle feed, delta feed that OMS sends to the selling channels, right? OMS gets all of this information from different places and gives that picture to the selling channels. Okay, it's called RTAP. Okay, and again it's delta and full. So full could be once in a day, and delta, as the inventory keeps changing, you give that picture to the selling channel. So that is how OMS plays a very important role in the inventory management. Okay, so I have taken one example here to better so that people understand it better how this inventory or global inventory visibility is given. Okay, so three items are taken: item A, item B, and item C. Okay, any questions? Okay, can people go on mute, please? If there are no questions. Okay, so there are a couple of things to understand here. The first one I'll come from down. ATP, available to promise, or inventory rules, right? Available to promise is how much you can, out of available inventory, how much you can promise. Okay, so there are some rules for that. Okay, so the first, this is a this warehouse A has 100% ATP. So for example, if you have say 500 items, that means you can tell that I have 500 items. That's available to promise. All 500 are available to promise. There's 5% reorder. So that means that, right, when you reach say 475, you if you kind of sold 475, that is when you reorder, right? When you have 25 items out of 500, you're gonna create a purchase order and you do the reorder for that item. Okay, this is a returns warehouse. You don't have any available to promise here. Even if you have inventory, you're not going to show that to the customer. You're not going to show it to the selling channel. There is a lot of reasons for that. In this example, one of the reasons could be you want to kind of validate that item before you make it available. So once you validate it, probably you'll move it to this warehouse or you'll send it to the store, right? So basically there's some checking happen. There is some security check that needs to happen. Though you have that inventory, you're not going to sell it. Okay, you're not going to make it available to the customer. And you have an example of store here. There's something called safety factor. Okay, one is reorder level, another is safety factor. Safety factor is you don't want to, you just want to keep that inventory. Okay, that's a safety factor. The reason mostly you have it for stores, because so not only you're fulfilling orders from stores, there will be people coming also into your store, right? So you want to make some inventory available for them also, right? You don't want a customer to walk into your store and you don't have inventory because you already shipped that for customer orders, right? So you want to keep some safety stock. So here 10% is the safety stock for all the items, right? So let's take example of item A now. So warehouse A has 100 items that is fully available to promise, right? You have item A 10 here, but you're not going to consider for ATP. Okay, you have item A here 30, but there's a 10% safety factor. So basically you're 27 plus 100, 127, okay, of item A. Okay, that is what is inventory in hand. You see here item A is 127. Okay. Let me know if you people are not understanding, you can put math and show, but basically it's 100 from here, 27 from here, because 10% safety factor, right? 30 ka 10% is 27. So 127 you have item, right? So also we have the transit. This is all incoming inventory, right? So item A, you have transit or expected before ship date is 50. So you're going to add that 50 and 127. So basically you have inventory supply of 177. And also you'll have to look at the demands. Okay, it could be reservation, it could be order demand, right? So 177, you have existing demand of 135, right? So 177 minus 135 is 42. So basically your RTAM or available to promise for item A is only 42. Okay, so this is what you're going to give it to selling channel, and this is what you're going to see in your selling channel, that item A availability is 42. The reason for that is you had 177, but you already have orders, or you basically have existing demand of 135. Okay, Similarly for item B, right? So item B, you have 54 here, 10 minus 1 because 10% is a safety factor. So 54 plus 9 is 63, right? And you have 10 items, 63 is inventory in hand, and you have 10 items which are coming in the transfer. Okay. So 73, but you have a demand of 45. So 73 minus 45 is 28. Okay. So that is how you arrive at 28. Okay. Similarly, for item C, you had 9 items here because again 10% safety factor. 87 here. So 87 plus 9 is 96. Okay, and you have 10 items which are in transfer. So 106, but you have a demand of 95. So then you are left with only 11. People, did we understand this? It's a little complex, but I mean, I thought giving a good example would be helpful for you people to understand it. This is how you arrive at the available to promise, or this is how that our time is published from OMS. Any questions on this? Okay, I assume that is understood. Okay, getting in the last section, right? Looking at how is the order management solution landscape look like? Okay, so in this slide, what we're trying to show is what are the core OMS capabilities, right? And what are the potential non-OMS capabilities, right? So what I see in red is all core OMS capabilities: order capture, sourcing and scheduling, right? Inventory management, order processing, returns management. That also is store management, financial processing, report. Right? These are the core functions of OMS. The other thing that are outside or where OMS integrates is definitely a warehouse management system. Payment gateway, you cannot have that within OMS. You have to have integration with that. Carrier and integrator, definitely not a OMS function, right? You're gonna integrate with the carriers, right? You have carrier integrators like scan data and other stuff, which gives you the best lowest price carrier that you can ship it through. Okay. Tax systems is again outside of OMS because tax is again a very complex calculation, right? So you need to have a separate system for that. Address verification is another important entity that OMS integrates with and talks to, right? And merchandising. So merchandising is application which has the item data, inventory data, right? This is where your inventory is created. This is where your item is created. This is where your item is managed, right? And this is where your pricing, promotions, all of that is mostly created in the merchandising system. Okay. So OMS integrates with that. So what are the solution options, right? As I said, OMS, Sterling OMS, IBM, it's an IBM product. It is the most famous order management system. It has been there for last 17, 18 years. It started a company called Yantra. Okay. So there are a few Infosys people who went out and created a product called Yantra. Okay. So it just came in picture in 2002, 2003. It was there and it was first bought by AT&T and it was called Sterling Commerce by AT&T only. That happened somewhere in 2004 and 5, 6 time frame. It was Sterling Commerce till 2010. In 2011, IBM bought it. Okay, and it became IBM Sterling. They still kept the name as Sterling, so it became IBM Sterling. So as I said, this is one of the most famous OMS, very good and complex, with a lot of changes happening in this system also. It was, as of now, it's a monolith, one big application. It's very difficult to do any changes to it. Though it has a lot of functionality that a normal retailer would need, but every retailer is different. So there's a lot of customization needed. So customizations are not easy. So what IBM is doing is also moving towards microservices, right? As of now, it's a monolith, right, with Oracle as a database and a huge application. Right? What they have done is they are slowly moving towards microservices, microservice-based architecture, where they'll build different microservices for each of the functions, right? Sourcing is going to be one microservice. Scheduling is going to be one microservice. Order processing is going to be another microservice, right? Payment could be another microservice, right? I'm just giving some examples. So they started building their roadmap of 2-3 years. Again, Publicis Sapient is working with them. My previous company is working with IBM in creating this new product. Right? So the reason for that is, I mean, people are moving away from monoliths, and everybody wants to use microservice architecture, right? And no SQL databases, right? So that's why even IBM is moving towards that. Slowly, they will get away of this monolith Sterling, right? And they'll have different microservices, and retailers can buy those individual microservices which are there. Okay. Another important OMS is Manhattan OMS. This is also pretty famous. Their WMS is more famous than their OMS, but they already moved to microservices. I mean, they also had a monolith. They already moved to microservices. Not been very successful in the first few years. They moved to microservices last 2 years back. Their first few implementations did not go very well, but now I heard recently, I was reading a LinkedIn news yesterday where they got good ratings for the new OMS now. They're giving good competition to Sterling is what I heard. But the problem with Manhattan is they keep it very close to their heart. They don't give it. You cannot go and do any customization. They only do customizations. Whereas Sterling IBM, it's not an open source, but you can still go and do customizations. Okay, if you take the package, you can customize yourself. Any other company also can customize. Whereas Manhattan is not like that. They will not give code to anybody, so you cannot customize. They'll only do all the customizations, and they're very costly. The product itself is not very costly, but every customization costs a lot. So, but it is also a good OMS. If people want to can go with that. Magento also has OMS. Hybris, SAP Hybris is another famous OMS, but with limited functionalities. Okay, IBM Sterling and Manhattan have a lot of functionality. Magento and Hybris are not. They don't have as many features as Sterling and Manhattan. Okay, but Hybris is. The good thing about Hybris is it's the digital channel, and OMS is one single product. So it has lesser complexity compared to other OMS. Okay. WMS is Blue Yonder, JDA. It was earlier called JDA, and now it's called Blue Yonder. And I recently heard that Panasonic bought Blue Yonder. Okay, so Panasonic bought this, and they're making that as their product. And Manhattan WMS is pretty famous. High Jump is another good WMS. Career integrators, ScanData, ProShip, Pitney Bowes, Shukau. These are the very famous career integrators that integrate with OMS. With that, we come to the close. I also wanted to share the business context diagram of the OMS. Since we still have any question before we go there. I'll talk about career opportunities as well. But before that, any questions people have?
No.
Been very silent. I don't like this kind of sessions. I want people to interact and ask questions. Maybe it's.
Tally is also similar, is it?
What is that?
Tally.
Can you be a little louder, please?
Tally.
What is your question? Tally is?
Is it similar to OMS or?
I see. Tally is a different application, right? Tally. No, I mean maybe others can put. Like I'm not very. I don't know much about Tally, but anybody wants to tell what Tally is not a OMS. Okay, definitely. Tally is a different application. It's mostly used for financial and other stuff, right? Guys, can somebody talk about Tally? I'm not good at Tally. Cypher, anybody else knows about Tally more?
Actually, for small business, they do all these things which we discussed. Like not only basic impression is that it is only used for accounting and
Yeah,
tax stuff, but
yeah.
we do have all this stuff like order management and
Yeah, maybe for a smaller retailer, right? Yeah, definitely yes, maybe it can be used. But if you are a multi-channel retailer, right? If you have different channels and all, maybe Tally might. Again, as I said, I'm not an expert on Tally. Maybe it can be used for that also. But yeah, I haven't heard any big retailer using Tally as their OMS. Any other questions? Okay. I'll give one more minute for people to think and ask any questions before I go to the business context diagram, BCD, of your OMS. No questions? पूरा समझ में आ गया या कुछ समझ में नहीं है? Somebody has raised a hand. Mohammed Sohail bhai. By mistake, did you raise it or you want to ask some question? Okay, we'll go to BCD. Okay. I'm not sure if people have seen BCDs. I think mostly everybody would have seen a business context diagram, right? This is mostly created by the product managers or business analysts, right? This is a functional overview of a application, right? Business context diagram, right? Basically, which highlights the application and also the other applications it would interact with. Okay, so here it's a level 2, or I would call this as a level 3 actually of a OMS BCD, right? So this is used when you go to different clients, right? When you go to a client, this is where you go and show them, okay, this is what a OMS business context diagram looks like. You tell us what all functionalities do you want out of this. Okay, so this is what a OMS looks like at high level with features, right? And these are the interacting systems of OMS, different systems, right? It might interact with. You tell us, right, which all you want. For example, if you go to a retailer, they might tell that, okay, I want to use maybe one reship and exchanges, right? I don't have it, right? I don't want to use it, right? So basically you don't want it, right? And if you want something that you want from this, you basically go and select it, and based on that only, I mean, the interactions happen with the clients. Okay, so this BCD, I mean, if you look at OMS, right, whatever I talked about is what you usually have here. Maybe a few more things, right? I didn't cover everything, definitely, right? So order capture, right? This is a separate function, right? Order processing, fulfillment, orchestration, settlement, all payment stuff, right? Returns and exchanges is a separate module, right? Inventory management, right? So what are the different applications does it kind of talk to? Is on the top you have the order capture channels. Okay, different omni-channel order capture, right? You had a web, your mobile, your kiosk, endless aisle is again kind of kiosk only, call center, POS, catalog, right? So that's your uh, uh, order capture channels, right? In this side, you have your PIM, product information management. Okay, this is where your product is created, your product catalog and pricing and all of that, category management, right? Different categories, different departments and all is created here. Promotions and all is created here, right? And this side, you have a merchandising system again, which is merchandising product management. Here again, the forecasting, right? Capacity management and all of that happens here. Product management also happens here, right? And you have customer service as a separate function that OMS would talk to, right? Customer service is again your call center, right? Your cancellation of orders, your update shipping address and all of that. It's a call center which we have shown as a separate application here because it's not part of core OMS. Then you have your fulfillment, different applications, your WMS, your dropship vendor, your store fulfillment, right? If you're doing fulfillment through store. Organization change management, not very, I'm not going to go to that. Here we have different high level feeds and interfaces, right? This is product data, customer data, order capture data, WMS feed, other external system interfaces. This is all inbound to OMS. Okay, this is all coming to OMS. Outbound is order fulfillment data and external system interfaces. There are some external system interfaces that we have talked here. Address validation, fraud management, tax management, payment processing, customer communication, all your emails, carrier integration, gift card management, and marketplace. So these are the external system that OMS talks to. This is how a OMS BCD business context diagram looks like. Okay, I don't want to confuse you with a lot of information. Okay, this has a lot of information, probably a little complex as well. So just wanted to show you how a BCD looks like. Okay, and this is, as I said, is used by when you go first time talk to a client, right? And this is what you show to the client, and then they can tell, okay, I want these features, I don't want these features. Okay, or they might say that I have a few new features which are not in this context tag, right? Probably that time you want to do some customization for them. Okay, that's pretty much I had to share. Any questions? We have anything? There's chat message. What is this? What is it? WMS, is it? WNS or WMS? WMS is the warehouse management system, right? That is a system. So we already had a session on that. If you want, you can go and I only gave that session. It's available and you can go and listen to it. So basically, warehouse management system is a system within a warehouse or a DC, which is kind of used to manage a warehouse, right? Management means receiving of all of your inventory, right? Managing that and shipping that inventory when you get orders. Okay. That is what is WMS at high level. Any questions?
How different it is from enterprise resources planning like SAP, and we have other applications like.
Yes. See, enterprise applications are, I mean, I would call OMS as an enterprise application because it's one application. Uh, it's more of a virtual one application, right? Whereas WMS is individual applications you'll have for different warehouses, right? It's because there you're managing physical inventory, okay? Right? You have your not only your inventory management, you also have to manage your people who are working there, right? So there is some people management also involved, right? It's all about that. So WMS is not a enterprise application, it's an individual application which is used for the warehouses separately. Okay, it's going to be different instances and different separate applications. Enterprise is only one. So OMS is enterprise application, WMS is not. Okay, any more questions? Sci-fi? Good time to close.
Okay, any other question?
We would discuss career opportunity. Is it?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Sorry, I forgot about it. Yeah. So see, if somebody has experience in this area, right? Whether you're a developer, whether you're a QA, right? So if you want to work on order management, mostly experience, it's good to have experience on this, okay? Because these are, as I said, it's a very complex application. Having experience, if you already worked on it, and a lot of jobs, okay? Right? If somebody is a Sterling OMS developer or even a functional person, right? QA, right? Or automation resource who has worked on OMS, so a lot of job openings. I mean, if you go and see in any job site, right, almost everybody is hiring, right? I mean, even Publicis Sapient is hiring, Cognizant is hiring. So all these big companies, right, even our company is hiring for people who have already experience, right? And if you don't have experience in in OMS, the other good experience to have nowadays, as I said, is microservices, right? Microservice, knowing Spring Boot, knowing microservices. Every company is trying to build a new OMS, right? I mean, especially Lowe's, right? Lowe's is one of the client I work for. They're building their own order management system. They don't want to buy it from other. They want to have a custom OMS. So everybody is building a new OMS, and the backend for that is microservices, right? Spring Boot, right? If you know microservices, there are so many jobs, right? Especially in this area, right? The other one is if you are a UI developer, there are two technologies. One is React and other is Angular, right? Angular JS. So as I said, IBM is building a new product. right? The new OMS, their UI is built on Dojo framework, Angular, okay, Angular JS. They're using Angular. So mostly others are using React JS. So if you don't have experience in OMS, but if you are a developer with these technologies, I mean, you can reach out to me. There are so many job openings. Okay, I mean, if you are a React and Spring, you don't have to even depend on OMS, right? There's so many openings. But especially if you want to get into this area, there's a lot of job opportunities if you are a developer with if you are working on these technologies. Otherwise, if you have experience, I mean, even if you have 1 or 2 years experience in working on any OMS, there's still a lot of openings. It is a hot skill, okay? OMS, if you worked on, it's definitely a hot skill. People get paid a lot because there are not many people who know OMS and who have worked on OMS. It's a rare skill anywhere, okay?
How about people who are not experienced?
That's what I said, right? I mean, if you're a developer and if you know these technologies, you can still get into OMS area.
Neither a developer.
Neither a developer. There's no training. I mean, Saifa has been asking me to do some hands-on training on OMS as well. Maybe one day we'll have that. It's going to take a lot of time for me to create such content, right? If I had to train somebody on Sterling OMS, I'll have to maybe spend few months preparing that because it's not a open source, right? It's application. I cannot give access and all to people, right? So probably I'll have to create a lot of content for that and give training sessions. Maybe we'll do it one day, right? But not right now. Yeah, learning is not easy. This application it's not open source, it's not available, right? I mean, anybody who has worked in a project only will learn it. But one day, I mean, if Saibhai keeps pushing me, I'll create that hands-on training for OMS.
That's different, but any opportunities for people who want to learn or who have functional experience, but how to enter?
You have functional experience, you're telling them on this?
Yeah.
I mean, you can, one way to learn is, I would probably look into QA domain, right? Quality assurance, right? If you have some functional experience, you can definitely get into manual or automation QA work, right? With that, you will be easily able to learn application, okay? I would say the fastest way to learn is by testing application, right? Because developers will be mostly working on a single module. Whereas if you do testing, I'm also from testing background, I've done a lot of testing in my earlier career, right? So if you get into QA, right? I mean, if you show some knowledge, it's easy. As I said, a lot of QA opportunities also there in OMS area. So get into a QA role, or other one is becoming a product owner, right? Or product manager, or getting into an agile role. So also you can still learn, okay? If you are a product owner and if you have some knowledge, right? I mean, I would say do some certification of product management, a product owner, right? And then you can get into that area as well. I'm not sure if I'm answering you fully, but yeah, it's not very easy. Okay, that's why I'm giving a little tricky answers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not something that's available on, right, LinkedIn, or it's not available on what are the different other learning platforms. You will not get easily courses on order management system, right? Because these are all custom packages, okay, right? These are applications, right? Which are paid applications, right? People spend millions to implement these OMS, WMS, and all, right? So nobody can. It's not openly available, right? You cannot go and learn online, or you cannot go learn through a learning channel. That's why it's difficult.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions? Good. At least at the end we're getting some questions. Thank you. Okay. If no more questions, thank you people who are joined. I know it's not easy in Ramzan to come and join and listen in, right? Thank you for who are joined and listened in. And this will be available as well later if you want, or if somebody else wants to listen in, they can listen in. Sai bhai, over to you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Jazakumullah khair.
Get your contact
And thanks to all the participants also.
Somebody is asking something.
your contact.
He's asking for your contact. You can put in the chat box.
Yeah, I'm putting my phone number where you can WhatsApp me, and I'll also put my email ID. Okay, you can find me on LinkedIn with this. Okay. Yeah, you can take it. Okay, because the Zoom call will end, this will go off. You can probably take a screenshot of it, or whatever you want to.
It's not showing.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Have you got the contact? Who was asking?
I messaged in the chat message, right? Whoever asked.
Okay, I think you can put for everyone.
I put, oh, not put for everyone, is it? Oh, sorry. Okay. Copy and I put for everyone. Okay, I didn't know that it was going to only him. Okay. Everyone in meeting. I'm gonna put that here. Okay. Did everyone get it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're from UNC.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Okay, thanks a lot, Shams bhai. Thanks, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
making it an interesting session. We will keep on having similar sessions in future also. So request all to join, and with your friends, colleagues, others also. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.